Продовжуємо роботу.
We continue our work at Ukraine Crisis Media Center, and now we are going to speak about Ukrainian brands that become trends. Our speakers are Violeta Moskalu, Ph.D. expert on public administration and international development, head of the international organization Global Ukraine, and Zharova, co-founder of Israeli Friends of Ukraine NGO, Director General of the Israeli-Ukrainian Alliance, Development Manager at NEO.VC company, Inna Shemet, administrator of Facebook group Ukrainians of Portugal, also Vladimir Gula, Director General of Alumni of Ukraine, Albert Feldman, Director of the Golda Meir Ukrainian-Israeli Institute for Strategic Studies, and Victor Kmita, Head of XM Online Company. Later, we will be joined by Oksana Albi, the representative of the Ukrainian community in Ireland. Welcome, Violeta Moskalu. Thank you for being with us today at this press conference. And today we are going to speak about conclusions of the V Global Ukrainians Forum. 450 participants from different organizations from different countries of the world joined. 22 countries were represented, and during 2 days they discussed different issues concerning people's diplomacy, how to efficiently promote the interests of Ukraine in the world, and how to involve intellectual and financial capital for support of reforms in Ukraine. At the end of the forum, they adopted the charter for the Global Ukrainians Network, supported by 40 organizations with which we cooperate in over 2 years. And about the success of this forum, I would like to give the floor to our participants. We were participating in working meetings, working panels, and we've discussed this issue, and some projects will be launched in the nearest future, and there were representatives of 22 countries who attended the forum from Europe, Israel, Asia, United States, Canada. So we would like to hear your feedback. You came from Portugal, so we started to cooperate not long time ago, so I would like to hear your impression of this forum. What are the positives of such meetings? I administer the biggest Facebook community, Ukrainians of Portugal. And also I represented the numerous community that is over 60,000 people. And I really liked the organization of this forum, the representation of participants. And it is symbolic that today we have a visit of the Minister of Foreign Affairs of Portugal to Ukraine. So diplomats, they do their cause, and the participants of the forum support Ukraine. Post-Maidan Ukraine is civil society in which horizontal links really help the state. And we share a common opinion that in the environment there is traditional diplomacy cannot cover all the spheres. That's why cultural and business diplomacy will bring our country to the new level. I would like to say several words how we see the format of our cooperation and the prospects in the context of Portugal representation. Here we have a wonderful team. They are patriots of Ukraine and real professionals. They reached success in journalism, economy, and these are architects, writers, scientists, inventors, researchers, and many other specialists. Also, we have on our team volunteers, talented and efficient curators of cultural projects, curators of festival exhibitions, cultural parties, sport events, and cinema. So in Portugal, we have close relations in our community, Ukrainian community. And this is important in order to resolve complex problems. So we are glad that we are such a bridge. So we open doors to Portugal for all the participants. This can be cultural events, business interests in Portugal, and we are glad that our opportunities can help Ukrainian brands, interesting cultural events, and will provide the flow of capital and investment between two countries. So these horizontal relations will allow Ukrainian community to join cultural world context and to preserve its own identity. I would like to thank Violeta and all the team of Global for this forum, for the ideas, for the attitude, and for inspiration for all of us. Thank you. So we joked at the official opening on Friday, on the 7th of July. And in Germany on Friday, they had a summit of G20, and we said that we had our own 20. We had representatives from over 20 countries, and this was our first success. And there were delegations that came from such exotic countries as Jordan or South African Republic, and and we negotiated on cooperation and continue the old projects. So the promotion of Ukraine, and one of the directions that we considered during our forum is business, how to attract financial resources to support the SMEs in order to develop and to assess the startups. So the topic was making trends out of Ukrainian brands, and also we spoke about the development of venture and educational platform of Global Ukrainians Network, and those who are in the educational sphere be able to coordinate their efforts better. And here we have Director General of Alumni Fund of Ukraine. This is an organization that was established in Switzerland, and now it has its office in Ukraine. Vladimir Vilgola. So your organization initiated this educational panel and invited different projects, breadbasket, in order to jointly think about better cooperation. What are your impressions? What are your conclusions? Thank you, Violeta. I would like to thank for this forum. And I see such needs for Ukraine and Ukrainians. We should get united globally. We should get united in the world. We have more than 20 million of Ukrainians abroad who are ready and who want to join the processes in Ukraine of different kind in education and people's diplomacy, but they do not have proper mechanisms to do this. And also Ukrainian education now, it's time, it needs better support by power and by Ukrainians on the whole. And during the panel concerning education, Alumni Fund Ukraine initiated this panel, and we gathered best initiatives, projects that are now drivers in the development of education in Ukraine. And the Edera Brain Basket Foundation, Prosvit projects were presented and others. And for Alumni Fund Ukraine, this unity is important. The main mission of our fund is to create idea and financial platform where everyone, no matter where he is, would be able to join and transparently participate in educational projects. So this umbrella organization, it was modeled from US experience, Norwegian experience, where there is such a system and it works there really efficiently. And the Global Ukrainians idea, it reinforces because Ukrainians, they really can reinforce each other. They can find business contacts, they can find cultural contacts, cultural diplomacy. And I'm sure that in recent years, these initiatives like Global Ukrainians, Alumni Fund Ukraine, that they will really change the situation for the better, will change the situation, reverse it, and will show practices that will be implemented by other countries of the world. Thank you. From the very start of establishment of the forum, Global Ukrainians Forum, we established clear directions, and education is one of the most important areas of our work because we have many students in universities in Hartford, Stanford, and in other universities, and new technologies and communication means provide opportunity to create original online projects, online platforms, in order not to go out from Ukraine to get new knowledge, in order to get access in the regional centers, in rural areas. That's why we will consolidate this area, and we will cooperate with the Edera project you've mentioned. In 2 or 3 years, they got experience how to create original online products, and our experts from the sector, they will be able to share their knowledge and to share the experience of the best companies, international companies, or what is taught in Harvard or other leading universities. And this is important because migration trends and demographic situation in Ukraine is not positive at the moment. Many people go abroad, and we should do more in order to involve at the state level this experience of experts. And we lost 10 million citizens in the last 15 years, so maybe in 2050 in Ukraine, we will have even 10 million less than we have now. So the situation is catastrophic. So this is a critical moment. Whether we have this breakthrough and we create conditions, and the state will develop, and startups will develop ecosystems and educational projects and initiatives, or there will be even more crisis that the state won't be able to use these intellectual resources, and the support of startups and ecosystem of startups. There are many interesting initiatives and a lot of work is done by experts and different organizations. And one of the bright examples is Israeli-Friends of Ukraine organization. And Anna Zharova is the head of this organization, is here with us today. And she works in cultural, information, and business sectors with venture companies. And we would like to hear your ideas. What experts do in order to help Ukraine?
I'd like to say that it's not exaggeration that the Global Ukrainians is a conference, which is an event to be visited by everyone, because one who misses it, the conference, then Phil speech. Last year, everything started when knowing us in Ukraine, knowing us in Israel, companies started to ask us what is happening abroad. We do not know anything about Israel and so on. And it is interesting for us to meet and to know information about Israel. We did it the same way. We held this social entrepreneurship forum, and thanks to it, the initiative emerged. Violeta told us about this, and those days we understood that the challenges are that in the country where you are to tell about in Israel about potential of Ukraine, and the situation was that more and more communicating with businesses, we found investors who saw potential in Ukraine, and they understood that Ukraine is interesting, and there are very many initiatives in Ukraine. And one of the insights yesterday impression is that venture Israeli fund workshop to support Ukrainian startups. Very many people came, not only young people, but those people who are older, who try to understand where accelerators and what accelerators exist, who want to develop. And we, the expatriates, as Mr. Kaladyuk said at the panel discussion in Global Ukrainians, that expats may become bridges to their countries, attracting businesses, investors, because there are many talents in Ukraine, people who come here. One of the guests at the panel discussion was the businessman who is of Ukrainian origin. He was for the first time in Ukraine. They said Ukraine by eyes of first visit in person. He was impressed very much with active storing up of the market and the ecosystem development, very good initiatives, Unit City, which opened hubs which are opening all over Ukraine, and not only in cities. today is just the right time for maximum. We abroad are interested, and we see this is mutual interest. Our country, Israel, in which I live, Israel can gain much. You mentioned your first Israeli-Ukrainian Forum of Entrepreneurship, which you initiated and organized in Israel. It was in February 2016, as far as I remember, and there I was surprised that during 25 years of diplomatic relations between Israel and Ukraine, it was the first Ukrainian forum, and it was initiative of activists and volunteers. Very good that the embassy and the state sector supported you. These meetings, these platforms are very important. They help single-minded persons to find interesting ideas, these solutions to some problems, and I am very glad to have the chance to go to your conference, and when you described what challenges we face in developing networks. Today we think there are 300,000 highly educated expats of Ukrainians who are working in academic sector, in business sector, who are really huge potential of the country. They are lobbyists, cultural lobbyists, business lobbyists for Ukraine, and the Global Ukraine organization wants to gather at least 1% of them. But here we should solve the problem of coordination of and information, because to build these bridges, to establish these bridges and to share information, this is a huge job. When we told when we presented our activities and Victor approached us and said that they can help us, then we started working on Global Ukrainians platform. This is one of specific tools which help to develop the network fast, to get to establish relations with someone from Singapore or Malaysia. You can connect to them directly without our middleman support. I would like to thank Victor for being our most potent partner, most reputable one, who helped us to develop this resource. How you see the IT sector, why your company agreed to work under the development of this platform. Thank you, Violeta. Thank you, Anna, for organizing the Israeli-Ukrainian Forum. It provided us the opportunity to meet. And then we saw this potential of people who are ready and willing to do something for the country, although they do not live in Ukraine now. The borders have less and less meaning. Previously, expats living in other countries, they were forced to lose their roots. What happened with previous diaspora generations who migrated 150 years ago. Now people can remain inside of their communities, national communities, even visiting their native countries less than once a year. In this network we saw many opportunities to help. As a Ukrainian technological product company, we can become one of these participants, stakeholders in this community. We proposed Violeta to help to develop not only communication platform for people, but also to structure the activities for the future and help each other in the scope of specific projects and initiatives. And at the same time, these initiatives will remain open for us, the stakeholders. And also we are thinking of sharing economy where every person will be able to be a participant in civil initiatives and projects, not being limited to some current problems. And with the help of the developed platform, and I hope it will continue developing, we will be putting efforts in its development. There is an opportunity for people to join communication and to demonstrate what expatriates can do for Ukraine and to help establish business connections and use economic chances, which will help Ukraine more than official speeches. Thank you for organizing the forum. It demonstrated that those people who are working in Global Ukrainians, they really can do something and help our country to pass through hard times, and then they will be able to head many initiatives which will be useful for all people. This is one of the examples of specific tools. We understand that thanks to this platform, this platform is a synergizer for the projects. One thing is to find people in Facebook or other social media where we have an ocean of people and the information. We should know who to find, how to find this contact person in Egypt or Singapore. At our platform, My Global Ukrainian, this is a community management platform, the first Ukrainian platform. This is a unique product for finding single-minded persons and building communities. If someone can remember, Mark Zuckerberg spoke at Harvard recently, and he said 3 things are important today: to set targets, to create equal conditions, and to build communities. And when he was speaking, I heard him and I understood that Global Ukrainians is just the organization which he is speaking about. So Ukraine can become a country of happy and welfare, of happiness and welfare. So we try to create comfortable conditions for everyone to communicate, to find opportunities to do something which is interesting for him, which inspires him. And this joint network, we are thinking how to scale this up, how to get better outcomes. We have many people of result-oriented approach to matters, who like to do but not to speak. And by our case, we demonstrate doability of projects. You can go to our page and use just 2 clicks, and you can create your profile and tell about your projects, what are your NGOs, non-profit organizations. There are more than 700 NGOs of Ukrainians all over the world. We will be sponsoring this portion of platform and of NGOs, and we will be helping to develop B2B relations and helping to find partners from other countries of the world, in Portugal and Albania, to become some trade representative, to create franchises. This part of business diplomacy in B2B format is very important. We are working with the Chamber of Trade and Commerce, and that is important because this resource shortened the way, helping Ukrainian brands to find people in other countries who knows how to open those windows, how to transform this into business, the ideas into business, to make the dreams come true. We are making a kind of Ukrainian Amazon for Ukrainian creative brands to be accessible, so that requests can be placed for books, architectures, handmade products. There is very huge potential, and there are no governmental programs to support creative industry. We have 30 brands so far who have already agreed to work with us, and we are doing this project in cooperation with Ukrposhta company. There is only one example, one speaker, Artem Kovenko and Zinia Kovenko. They are family business. 3 years ago they were start up, and now they are sold all over. Their products are sold all over the world, and they jointly with the Qatar businessmen found via Qatar expatriates, and now they are launching the third brand to promote Ukrainian unique graphics of Chernivtsi, Lviv, all over the world. These brands, they are our targets, and we are going to support them. UK is named the creative economy. It was at the level of 300 billion pounds, and we see that this sector needs support in Ukraine. If we have lots of expats all over the world, let them 1% only of our diaspora will buy Ukrainian products. This will give new jobs to Ukrainians here, and this is an example how to help reforms in Ukraine, even when you live at long distance, far away from Ukraine. There are specific examples being developed by Global Ukrainians. 1 year and a half, we have 500,000 people who are telling about Ukrainian communities, different projects, and find inspiration and ideas on our site, reading about these initiatives, all these projects, all these initiatives which we presented at the forum. This is a transversal issue. Why so less is done at the national level? Why reintegration is not engaged? Why Ukrainian expats are not engaged at the governmental level? We are a volunteering organization, we are a foundation, we have no support from the government. Why we are the only organization working to develop some strategy of engaging expats and their skills? And it would be interesting to listen to Albert Feldman, director of the Golda Meir Ukrainian-Israeli Institute for Strategic Study. Can you tell us why Israel mastered development of reintegration policy, and why Ukrainian government failed?
So here we have such a phrase: professionals should be competent, and the time of competent people should bring real results to the country, and that what made Israel a great country. And Ukraine faces different situation. And here, when we say about this initiative, Global Ukrainians Forum, I believe you created a good infrastructure for cooperation, and this infrastructure has shown itself. You've held the 5th Global Ukrainians Forum. You created such wonderful facilities on the internet that allows to interact among stakeholders, those who support Ukraine, and all this shows that this activity is important, and the instruments you provide are really important, and this is your main mission. Those advice we share with you, I don't know whether I am in a position to provide advice to you, but I believe that we, as Golda Meir Institute, we will support your forum at all the level because we have the same mission. We are a hub for experts, especially experts from Israel to Ukraine, and we give the opportunity to reform the field, the area, like it is done in Israel. Sometimes it may look controversial, but Ukraine uses this experience. Of course, sometimes we are not heard because there are many external and internal interests, but we continue to show example and provide direct contact with those who changed Israel, who continue to change the world, and those expert hubs that are really important for the development of the country. I mean, it is important for Ukraine because Ukraine is in difficult situation. So that is what you can do. So to contact experts, and you can invite expats, and those Ukrainians who live abroad, they become more and more competent, and they can bring this knowledge to Ukraine, and I believe this will change the situation. So maybe you should focus on some really important tasks. Ukraine now is the object of the policy, not the subject. So then Israel first also was the object of the politics, and then it turned to be active participant of political processes in the world. So we believe that next stage of global Ukrainian, it should be creation of some, like IPAC Israel. So Israel influences directly and indirectly on American foreign policy. So I believe that it's time that Ukraine be able to influence American and European policy through consultation centers that would bring opinion of Ukrainian elite and Ukrainian people to some structures. Some efforts are made in this direction, but they should be more systemic, and you have opportunities for this. What is IPAC? This is a structure. This is a committee, American and Israeli committee, political committee. It works with the Republican and conservative institutes, with American elites. So there is a technology how to replicate this. So these are Israeli influential circles, Americans of Jewish origin who contribute to promotion of Israeli policy in the world and reinforce the position of Israel in the White House, Senate, and I would like also to say that Lukashenko made an interesting statement. He called on everyone who has Belarus origin, those who lived in rural areas, to become mentors, to become those who help their local communities they originate from. So he is a dictator, but even in such places, they understand that you should search for the opportunity to influence these people in order that they contributed to their communities. Maybe Ukraine should also voice this idea on the at the top level. And the Ukrainian diaspora is bigger, much bigger than Belarus diaspora. Thank you very much. What can I say? I remember the words of my colleague Petranyak in Spain. He said that working migration is the best school of democracy for us. And we should stress that due to migrants and this process, Ukraine became global, because otherwise we would not have such opportunities. So these are highly educated Ukrainians who promote interests of Ukraine and different countries of the world. What you said about influence on power, I believe that we move in this direction step by step. We have an incident in spring when we had to defend the interests of Ukrainians, not to be deprived from Ukrainian citizenship, those who got citizenship of other country. And we were really surprised how the laws are written and the lack of competence, professionalism. Because without any analysis, without any statistics, someone wrote these laws. That's why I repeat that we need quality analysis, and if someone is interested to understand the real causes and to have good basis for decision making at strategic level, you can address us, and we will provide free of charge consultations as a consultative center. We can involve intellectuals from different sectors who will quickly analyze the information. Ina, would you like to add something? So we will hold the next forum in Southern African Republic. They plan an economic forum then, our community, I mean, and we will have a team building for global there. So this will be a combination of good and useful. And about the development of the network. In 2.5 years, our foundation, Global Ukraine, dealt with it, and starting this year, this 5th forum, our network starts to live its own life. Coordination committees were selected, and there is a structure, there is a charter. This is our constitution of Global. And 40 organizations supported this charter, all those who share our principles and values, who agree with our manifest. Those parties can join us, and we invite everyone for cooperation to promote the image of Ukraine, and the mental modernization of the state is our main priority, our end goal. Everyone can join us, please. Thank you. Dear colleagues, do you have questions to speakers? Please introduce yourself first. Oleg Baychun, Industry 4.0, about education. Education is a painful issue. Japanese said that they built society 5.0, Germans 4.0. And here they only wait when we get more poorer. And those who will leave the school, we believe that people may be without any profession. So there should be technologically different situation. So we have inactivity here. Would you like to comment, Vladimir? I will answer your question by our results, active results that we made together with Prometheus platform, and we started an online course on critical thinking. This is the third course in the world, according to the comments of the audience, and 3,000 Ukrainians underwent this training. And in October, there will be a second course, Design Thinking for Innovation. So this is a powerful method that is used in the world in business. In Stanford, it is actively used, and it is for specialists and for Ukrainians. Everyone can get it in 3 months. So this is about big courses. If we are speaking about projects in the framework of centers, we have 4 of them, and they increase. We held 30 different projects. We sent teachers and professors abroad at international conferences where they can show their results and to share experience, and also the support of the motivation of teachers. We have stipends for teachers, for those who use IT technologies in teaching process, and they get financial support. And we have tons of different projects, different stipends for students and teachers. They are of different kind, and inside the institutions they start to change approach to teaching, to learning, and there is a competition from inside. On the basis of this will scale up to other institutions, and thus the system of education can become a success story, a successful model may emerge. Their example, when they create new content, then it is integrated in MONF program. So these initiatives, some institutions, state institutions, there are adequate people, and they integrate this, and this is a positive factor, we should say. I meant the Ministry of Education. I understand that everything goes from the grassroots level, but here, so we cannot answer for the Ministry of Education, but we believe that cooperation will be more close as it was before, and the best practices will be scaled up at the level of the state.
Reforms of the system of education is one of the most important in Ukraine. Minister of Education of Ukraine, Ms. Grinevich, 4 days ago, came back from Israel, where she tried to learn how important it is to restructure the system of schools and higher educational institutions. I think she heard something how to do that, because Grossman today said that they will be launching the reform of education and will be finding sources of funding outside the world. You should find money for education reform inside of the country. Otherwise, this reform would be directed to benefit other countries, but not your own country. We do not have questions, so thank you very much and see you next time. Thank you.